there was also like people that were also like wanted to worship with us, and that was also really encouraging. And yeah, but I guess the important thing was that like every day, like it takes like a lot of courage, and I guess just like well, I prayed for physical endurance because I'm not durable, but it takes a lot of like courage and strength to just go out there and sing for like 4 or 5 hours, just like to everyone, just walking out around, and yeah, it was a good experience. And then I also, there was a prayer station where like there was like a sign where like they held up like you want to be prayed for or something. I think that's right. And then and I got to go there a couple times, and like who they're talking about, Josh Holmberg before, like he just prays for everyone no matter what. Like he just asks them like, can I pray for you? Like, is there anything going on? And I remember one time he like prayed for my like jammed pinky in like the next day. It was like actually pretty good. It was insane. And I just witnessed like him and other people just praying for anyone that walked by. Like they didn't even just like come to the sign or anything to ask for it. Like they went up to the people walking by and they asked them like, do you want to pray? And like seeing people chase after others out of love like that was really powerful. Yeah.
Okay, so I was also on the worship team with Eddie, and so half the time I was worshiping on the boardwalk, and the other half I was standing around the drawing boards. So another team would draw a picture and go tell a story and do like a drama, and so I would just stand in the crowd, and then after the drama's done, I would try to go talk to people who were, I guess, lingering still and still thinking about the message, and they seemed more interested than people who just walked away, so I would talk to them. And so I feel like this trip really opened my eyes to see like you're not in the mission alone, and you don't have to be alone when talking to people. First of all, you have God, and also you also have other people helping you. So especially worship, we had a huge team for worship. Pretty much if a person didn't have a team to go to, they would usually just come to worship and worship with us. So I felt like God really showed me that like He didn't send me out alone by myself to just go talk to others in darkness and just like, I guess alone, just talk to people. But He also sent other people, I guess as a church, we all went out as groups to go talk to people, and that really, I guess, gave me strength in evangelizing. I'm recommending the Ocean City trip to all of you guys, especially if you guys never tried evangelizing before and think it might be a little bit scary, or it might like you don't know what's gonna happen. It's a really good experience, and it really opens your eyes to spreading the word of God.
So Kevin already mentioned it a little beforehand, but I mostly stayed at this free test for heaven sign. So we held up a sign that asked people, do you know, are you going to go to heaven, free test? And then people would actually approach us and talk to us about it, and we kind of see if they were good enough to go to heaven, which is based off the 10 Commandments. So I guess for me on this trip, one of the things you recognize when you're talking to a lot of people on the boardwalk is just many different types of people there are. You talk to many Catholics, many different denominations of Christianity, many atheists, Muslims, and a lot of other people. And you come you come to talk to them about your views versus their views. And a lot of times, you have to quote a lot of like Bible verses and have a lot of knowledge. So it's always a very taxing kind of thing to do. But I think one of the major things you see while you're on the boardwalk is the spiritual battle that's going on. And a lot of times I don't think we get to see that as much, like because we go to church here and we have a community of like Christians, which is awesome. But then when you're out there, you do realize that there's a lot of people who don't know God and who need God. So kind of like I would recommend this trip to people just because I think it sharpens your sword and it helps you recognize where you are in your spiritual life better and how much more you can grow. And it's also very encouraging. As one of the older people this year, you see a lot of the younger middle schoolers and young high schoolers kind of go out there and like get out of their comfort zone and talk to other people.
So I was on the worship team like basically almost the same time. So I definitely would say that like my experience strengthened my basically trust and strength in God because like we saw a lot of people on the boardwalk who really didn't believe in God. And I'll share with you one story of this guy who was walking by while we were worshiping, and then he saw the sign. We held up a sign that said, "Come worship with us." And he said he just like looked over onto the side of his eye and said, "What are you gonna worship?" And he just walked away. So I was pretty like let down by that, kind of like burdened, and so I just prayed to God at that point, like for God's glory. And I think 5 minutes later, like a bunch of people came who were like basically on fire for God. They were a group of women. I think in one of the pictures they were there, and yeah, that just showed like how kind of what Josh was saying, the spiritual battle with God, or with the devil and Satan. How God gives us strength in these moments, and all we have to do is trust in Him and pray. And like so, going back to my spiritual strengthening through this trip, yeah, I would really recommend it if you're looking for like something to show how you are in your spiritual life, and I guess like it even improves your understanding and ability to evangelize and tell other people about the gospel. Yeah, other than Arthur's sunburn and Eddie almost getting hit by a car, it was like a wonderful experience.
So everyone basically said a lot of the things. I was a part of the drama team and the worship team, and I got to walk around to some of the other stations too, and it was really, really encouraging to see all these youth like on fire for God and like going out of their comfort zone and preaching the gospel, using the paintboards and like really not being afraid. For me, one of the things that really stood out was during worship, there was one guy who brought his family over and they sat there for like an hour or so, and he like shared his testimony with us, and he was saying how he didn't believe before, and then last year he had some sort of like illness or something, and he said that he like passed away, and like God appeared to him, and like he like got to meet his family that like even his parents never got to meet, and like he was really touched that like God showed up to him and like showed him that he was there for him, and it was just really amazing to see how God works through ways that you wouldn't imagine. Like, you don't hear many stories of Him bringing someone back to life. Yeah, I really encourage going to Ocean City. It was really
All right, thank you, folks. Yeah, it's hugely uplifting and inspirational for me as well to really hear the gospel in its essence, and the sinner gets saved through Christ. So yeah, so next year we definitely are going to partner again with REM to organize a trip to Ocean City. So until then, be on fire for Christ.
Thank you. Let's stand up for doxology and other here with the benediction.